So, you know me, I'm all about not cannibalizing people and not reading people's mail. We both know these two things about me for a fact. Especially because I spent so much time on Nuncio, I ought to respect the post courier's credo. But I loaded in, and I accidentally clicked on the button to roll and try and read the letter that we were entrusted that we have to take to Hideaway from our friend, the lighthouse keeper, who's secretly one of the seven. And I succeeded, so I'm like, well, might as well read it. So, farewell, my captain, my love. With a deft hand, you release the letter's contents without disturbing its seal. Within, the words read with equal parts reverence and resignation. Details are politely kept at arm's length, but that doesn't prevent the author from reminiscing of proud triumphs together. Victory at sea over screaming ships of polythreme, sparring sessions that turned into something more. Ooh. These times are gone, but his camaraderie is eternal. I'm sorry for giving up the fight, Auric. You always were the strongest of us. Oh ho, nice. So that's another one of the seven. I think that was the guy from the Khanate. Well, nice. So, I've delivered it into my eyeballs. Now I have to deliver it to Hideaway. Alright, so I've managed to leave without losing a finger bone. Thanks goodness. So, now is the time to decide... that scared me. Now's the time to decide what we're going to do. So, do I have my notes? No. I know I want to return to Port Cecil, though I can't quite recall why. I believe I have everything I need for Godfall to finally get all the way through that stalactite of death. I know I wasn't able to get into Frostfound because I was too afraid, literally. My terror was too high. And then beyond that, all of my notes are way out of date. So that's all I really remember. I mean, the main thing is we know I have a problem in that I have too much terror, and I'm worried about it affecting my life. So, oh, did I? Let me check my hold. Okay, so I have some of these, so I can go to Station 3. Okay. So I could go like this way, this way. Let's be real, I'll probably go to Dahut because I'll have relatively low fuel. And then I guess I could go this way. I don't really... You know, I have stuff to do at Khan's Heart, but I think I really ought to get back to London as soon as possible. It's just I'd like to get stuff done along the way. So, I think I'm going to go here, and then here. Oh man, I may not even do, because I'll have to go here. Back up. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I know I want to go southeast. So that's the beginning of something. I already see there's a current. If there's a current I'm gonna go. I hate the sound of peeing out all my precious liquids. Also, I was 5 feet from the harbor. I didn't expect that. That's really close, the two places are. Okay. Nup Mit, whoever that is, built this place as a prison for the colonnade. We've been here before, and we actually have business here. Should we attempt it? $3,000. So this is the one that we'd want to try and do. And we do have someone specific in mind. The only thing is, there's a good chance that, I don't know if we lose all 4 that we gamble with, 12 out of 27 will we be speed crippled. Definitely do this. Is that and it's clouds, right? Yeah, veils. Okay. So let's save and optimize for veils. Gunnery officer +3. Pages, veils +6. Veils +8. Yeah, that's not going to get beat. Then there. Okay, so we are now, or we at least ought to be, optimized. Now, we're going to do the fun thing where we're going to see how it goes. 18%. Wow. That's really low. God. Disaster. You make it up the prison walls, through the pipe, and straight into a cistern. The splashing attracts guards. Their guns wreak havoc before you escape. The pipe grating is repaired that same night. Oh boy. Yeah. Forewarned. Alright. Oh my god. I didn't expect that to I didn't expect that to work. I was just gonna do it for fun, and then I was gonna reload. Up the walls, in the gas between the searchlights, into the outflow pipe, where the armed thick bars have rusted enough for you to saw through. Down the corridors in silence, beneath bare light bowls, past the cells where prisoners plead. One crew member does, in fact, fall out of the pipe on his return, straight into the mouth of a not oracle. I think one of these fellows. It munches him ruminatively, while his twitching leg protrudes, rather like a farmer chewing an interesting straw. Unpleasant. More than unpleasant. Sometimes I feel like the narrator is a bit of a sociopath. Still, all things considered, it went rather well. It won't work a second time, though. They're already walling up the pipe. Wow. Okay. You're some sort of rather genteel pirate, apparently. Nice. This is the man you came here for. Is he a man? There's something peculiar about the line of his jaw, the shape of his eyes, but he's grateful to see you. You have my gratitude. Those not oracles. Feh. They would have choked on me, but it would have done me little good. I would be gently digesting now, were it not for you. I see you have my friend with you. We are going to do great work. Yes, my friend. Perhaps the great work. We shall wake those forces. Do you have the pattern? I can hardly wait. I like the idea like you come back the next day and they're just like, we know you did it, but we still have to act genteelly around you. Okay, so that was pretty lucky since that was under 18% chance. Manual save. I don't think I can really optimize for hearts. It's just a matter of just like, yeah. I want him because of the fuel efficiency. Hearts plus 9. I wonder when this is going to happen. It's just, I guess every time I lose something, I have to do a random roll to see if I'll catch him, and then it's just a matter of will I actually catch him. Alright. Onwards to victory. I love those giant frogs. I mean, they're the size of a small ship. That's pretty impressive. I don't know anything about them. That's their name, not oracles. Or I believe that's they. I'll be surprised if it's not, you know? But I don't know much else about them. Presumably there's lore to be found in this game, if not in Fallen London. Oh god, they're just 5 feet. Wait, shouldn't I have this? I've been to Khan's Glory. That's strange, isn't it? Is that not strange? Oh, okay, so Khan's Glory is just the southernmost part of this area. Oh, shoot. I was gonna do a Yui. Love those giant horse statues. Makes me think about the horse statues in Venice that I think San Marco Square, their main square, the one they're famous for, and I think they stole those statues from God, what was the successive name for Byzantium? Whatever it was. I can't remember it now. Constantinople? No. Wait. Yes? Oh no. My memory. Godfall is a fair bit away. At least on this map. I think it was Constantinople, and then thanks to the predations and brutal monstrous acts of Venice in their little mini crusade that for the first time ever a pope said not to do because it was Christians. It was like the wrong sort of Christians, but they were still Christians. And went over there and just absolutely ruined the joint and opened the way for, of course, the future Ottoman Empire, which the Khane, I think, sort of riffs on them, they being sort of, it seems sort of like the other side, like the versus side, a proto-Cold War. And I guess, and the Great Game, like they call it the Great Game in game. Oh, good luck. The lookout. Empty nets, empty hold, empty house. I'm gonna kick you, dude. Terror. 73. Not the worst it's ever been. Wait, yes it is. In this playthrough, anyway. Whew, okay, we made it this far. Okay. So here we can make a little money here. Gonna save this because we need it. Got this. Okay. So now we're going to try this again because unless I miss my guess, we now have... Wait. Didn't I get... Didn't I get an ambiguous Eolith? Wait a second. What's happening? Oh no. I thought I had one. Oh, here it is. Oh my gosh. I almost had a heart attack. I was like, did I mess up my saving regimen? But there that is. Okay, so I do have one now. I'm going to be so mad if it's like random chance when we go there and it's like, oh, you don't need an ambiguous Eolith anymore. You need a steak. Okay, so we should be able to get further. We should be able to get through that gate, whatever that gate is, here in Godfall. Okay, so we should be able to scuttle on through. I'm just, because we've done this before. Your bosun, grasp your shoulder. Each Zaylor grasp the next, bow your heads and push forward. Absolutely. Winged things. Go deeper. Where's the Church of the Starved Men? Onwards. Uh-oh. This room. Good. Last time we lost someone. You each step cautiously from chair to table to bench. Thankfully, the amber's brass keeps the furniture from swaying too much. As you reach the far side, a careless crewman stumbles and the chair swings sideways with a clotted splorch sound. But you've made it across. Oh, good. So in this universe, in this iteration, they didn't get swallowed by the amber, consumed up. Alright, go deeper. Wait, what? Oh no! Oh no. He was doomed. We found another amber room. We've done this before. We succeeded. Here we are. The Gate of Forms. Here, in the floor, because of the stalactite's fall, is a gate of glittering chalcedony, half lost beneath rubble, but thick enough to resist the most determined assault. Its surface is a relief of twisted limbs, distorted faces, screaming in glee. Carved? Molded? Impossibly natural? A pit at its center might be a key socket, or only a mouth. And this time, we can go through it. Perhaps once the gate was finely counterbalanced. Perhaps once hidden machineries would have roared at the touch of the Eolith, and the gate would have swung open like oiled glass. Now the Eolith only triggers the unlocking mechanism. It takes 3 sailors with crowbars to move the rubble and force the door open, so that when you bring it free, it collapses inward with an echoing crash. Climb through the gap, into a space that roars with wind. You have entered the Citadel's root. The root gallery. You've traversed half the length of the stalactite called Godfall from the monastery to here. Half? I thought it was halfway before. I don't think I have enough candles again. The starved men cut a tremendous gallery around the whole root of the stalactite, leaving a vast central pillar to support its weight. In its day, the view must have been unrivaled. Remnants of salvaged glass and wooden eating houses, viewing booths, sight temples still cling to the edges, but the root has been shattered, and the root has been shattered, and the stalactite fell. Go a little closer. Clamber carefully across the tilted surface of the gallery floor towards the shattered stump of the root. A dozen corpses, decades dry, lie at the stalactite's root. Someone else wrote this, maybe, or the same person wrote it a day later where they'd forgotten the difference between stalagmites and stalactites. A dozen corpses, decades dry, lie at the stalactite's root. You think there was a barricade here, but the fall has smashed it and the remnants have fallen into the sea. Were they defending the root? Gunner Atkins squints at the scorched and shattered rock and nods wisely. Gunpowder, he opines. Blew it up themselves. Killed the whole city. Starved men, eh? All us heard they fight each other. Mad as toads. In the immemorial tradition of subterranean adventures, you search the corpses. True. Well, it's not like they've been buried. Their bones, the bones of their limbs and faces, are blurred and twisted like melted wax. You find trinkets, disgusting remnant chunks, and oh, good God. Yes, that's worth a bit. Worth a lot. Best not let your men see it. Nothing else remains here. Signal your ship with flares and she'll approach. You can scramble down and drop into the Z to be retrieved. Much safer than the tunnels of Godfall, really. Captivating treasure, nice. 2 secrets, fine. Okay. Ooh, Irrigolite. Oh my gosh. This has other purposes, I'm sure, but my first thought immediately is our friend, the curator at Venderbite. Oh, we can complete another thing. Manual save after stupidity. I might as well put this on the main Overhill account because I don't know. It's just like a little bit of flavor text, I guess, but I mean, unless you have a particular reason to go back. Ew. That used far fewer candles, I think. That's a surprise. Okay, so I've saved. So now it's a matter of... I don't know that I need to go to Dahut. I think I have enough to make it back. So I'm just gonna go. Oh. I think that's our pirate friend. Yep, the Alcaius class Corvette. I suppose I should have tried my metal against her. Actually, you know what? If she's still there, maybe I will. Yeah, of course not. Well. That's okay. I didn't think about trying, because I forgot that I've upped my iron, and I haven't really tested it out super hard. Terror is rough. I feel like there are places to lower it. It's just, I don't know. I guess I'm just not good at doing it when I ought to. But I mean, we started this adventure and we were, I think, really low. Weren't we at like 18 or 20? And now we're nearly at 80, it looks like. Oh god, we are at 80. Okay. Sure. Back on Overhill. Alright, we're going to solve a dilemma. Hopefully not... Wait, what? Great ships have been dispatched. Oh no, they're not going to make it. The rat's wine is in high demand, hairless advisor. The aide twitches its whiskers. We don't wish to take the joy from life, but it has caused many problems, many injuries amongst our farmers. Our new militia recruits missing their training. Do we step in or turn a blind eye? You guys need to work. Like, you aren't settled yet. There are dark forces in the world. I think you maybe need to understand you're not safe. If this were like Odessa, Oklahoma, it would be a different decision, but the last wine barrel is delivered to the docks by annoyed soldiers. The aide breathes with relief. Hairless advisor, would you take this devil drink away? We would be most grateful. Yeah. Okay. But we gained civilization. It's troubled. If someone's coming, that's not good. That's in fact not good. Yeah, I don't really need that. I like something to lower terror if you have anything, but alright, well, I mean, I succeeded at it, and that seems to me the best thing, because from what I remember, morale doesn't save them. So yeah, like that last one where it's like we wanted to try and force them to stay, I think, and they left. It's like, no, it's like, God, who was that jerk in Jamestown or whatever it was? Like, people had been reduced to, or in other colonies, people had been reduced to cannibalism, and so John Smith, absolute dickhead, ran the place like a prison camp, but stopped them from dying. Because the problem was everyone who went there, none of them were like survivalists. They were all just like traders with delusions of grandeur that they could just kick gold out of the ground with their boots and live off of tobacco and they wouldn't need to grow anything else. I saw something move in the waters to the south, and I'm trying not to cry. If I had an aft weapon, I don't know. People on forums say they never use their aft Are you kidding me? If that had hit, I'd have lost my marbles. But yeah, if you have just a bunch of idiots who don't understand that they're in a survival situation, you do in fact have to say, hey, you need to plant crops so that you won't starve, and if you don't, I'll shoot you. Deliver long box. The only way path. Well, I'll do this first. Yeah, I can think of no other time where that sort of thing would be appropriate, but like where where your life depends on everyone else recognizing that their lives as well as yours depend on you growing a crop that isn't tobacco. It is perhaps okay to be a little forceful if the alternative is death. Deliver long box. Okay, so we've seen this before, deliveries. We have 2. It'd be cool if I only need 1, because then I can sell the second one, but I think we're trying to do 2 things here. Okay, the gate stands open. There are no stevedores, however, and no wagons waiting to help with the heavy cargo. There's only a sign which reads deliveries, and a painted hand which points insolently up a rock-cut staircase. My first thought is, of course, just thinking revolutionary girl Tina. Just a row of painted hands and you bringing a dead boy up the stairs. Perhaps that's what's happening here. This is the Black Rose Arc. Make a delivery. There's cargo in the hold marked for this destination, a long, low, heavy box. It'll be fun getting it up the stairs, no doubt. There's a great deal of grumbling from the crew. The stairs are sharp-edged and wet. The box is heavy, and its contents inclined to shift. After a few slips and a bad bruise to the shin, you resort to placing crew members along the stairs and handing the box along. There's a warehouse at the top of the stairs, but it is not, apparently, your destination. Another sign points along the narrow path towards the building with the spire. Deliveries, it says, more aggressively this time. Someone in the spired building is saying. The song sets your teeth on edge. Oh dear. You have a long heavy box, a winding path ahead that runs perhaps a quarter mile through the mist, a crew that is beginning to mutter about having to do landlubber work. There's a warehouse just to your right, but the sign says deliveries are to be taken onward. It says it rather emphatically, as a matter of fact. Okay. Going the extra distance might mean you can charge more for your efforts. The path is slippery and lined with mushrooms. You and the crew have to stop 7 or 8 times to set down the boxes and blow on your hands. The closer you get, the less the building with the spire looks like a church. The walls are soot-blackened and made of brick. There are no windows, only narrow vents up near the roof. From these, a low singing can be heard. A song so cheerful that your crew look at one another and frown. It is the song of someone keeping the monsters at bay. Oh. At last you are close enough to bang on the door. An austere acolyte answers it. She is dressed in black from head to foot. Her gloves are thick leather, and her goggles are double glass. Leave the boxes at the door, she says to you, and then she turns back towards the building, singing her song. Something about candied kittens and flaming violets and the coming of spring. Rain, drops and roses. These are a few of my favorite things. That would have come like a half century later. Judging by the rhyme, she's inventing the words as she goes along. You stop her and explain that you expect your extra work to be rewarded. She makes a grudging gesture, but complies. Okay. The austere acolyte directs the arrangement of the long box in the room under the steeple. There are many other boxes there already, stacked in rows, 3 or 4 times as many as you have brought. In another corner of the room is a pile of wood from previous boxes already emptied and dismantled. Singing to herself about a mountain upholstered in velvet, she takes a crowbar to the box. The corpse inside is permanently dead, in a way that the dead of London often are not. Not a drowning, not a tomb colonist, but not coming back either. It looks pale and ordinary, except for the slight distension of the skin over the breastbone. Gently, the acolyte presses there and nods, singing about tulips embroidered with yellow floss. She lifts the body onto a marble slab. Without pause in her lyric, she prepares a scalpel. Your presence does not seem to bother her. Ooh. I'll give it a shot. The austere acolyte makes an incision over the distended place on the body, laying bare a heart-sized sphere of silver metal. It has grown there, apparently over many years, because the ribs of the corpse have curved around it without cracking. She has to break 2 of the ribs now to take out the ball. Behind it, the heart is intact but bloodless, its color a milky gray. She notices you watching and halts her song just long enough to say, "They do not always grow in the same place, but over the heart is most common." With a giant nutcracker, she cracks the sphere, and another sphere inside that, and another. Finally, in the center, she comes to something heavy, small and black. She lifts it out with tongs and looks at it through her goggles. The song falters, but she manages to keep humming, though the words are lost. She puts the black and heavy thing into a jar marked with the word of the correspondence. She closes the jar and seals it with red wax. Finally, the corpse is removed again and the marble slab wiped clean. She comes to pay you. Though she doesn't offer any further comment, she seems pleased by your careful attention during the autopsy and almost smiles when she makes her payment. "A pleasure," she says. "Return another day. I may have something else for you." Okay, so now we have favor. So there's that. Does that mean we can... I don't want to have to bring a box every time. First off, I'm going to manually save. That's interesting. I don't remember this stuff, honestly. Perhaps if she has come to like you well enough, she'll choose to answer some questions about this place. Well, I'll start from the top. If you're to be involved in the trade, wouldn't it be better if you knew? Here and there, she says. It's not that she's trying to be coy. You don't think she much cares about the answer. Most are from the surface, one way or the other. You think that is all she's going to say on the matter, but after a long time she adds, "It's an old trade. They've been coming this way for generations, to judge by the piles out back. The masters made the arrangement." Oh, okay. So perhaps even as old as the first city this has been happening. Oh, I wasn't able to... Goodness gracious, hold on. So we're not able to talk to her again, at least not without a box, I guess. Meeting the heart metalsmith. So, I don't know where he is. Can we ask directions? A clay man directs you with a minimum of enthusiasm and even few words. He's to overlook. The smithy is a long, low building that you missed on your first survey of the island. The smith is a quiet man with a pinched face who works entirely in heart metal. The cannoneer greets him with a yell of delight. The smith winces, puts down his hammer, pinches the bridge of his nose. "It's you," he says. "2 of you." I like that. It's like, isn't that like, we talked with the factor, and the factor doesn't want to talk about his history with the cannoneer. Now another one who's just like, "Oh God, it's you." Only the Satan fellow over in the Iron Republic was happy to see him, and only because of the havoc he could wreak. The rooms run back into the rock of the island, chamber after chamber of long-barreled machinery. Okay. Huh. Why is the Smith so willing to help? Just how many outstanding favors are owed? The cannoneer shrugs the question off, smiling. I made a lot of bombs back in the days. A lot of bombs. For a lot of people who don't like me to talk about it. I think that's why the university threw me out. I never dared to go back and ask, though. Oh, I have almost everything I need. I just need devil bone dice? Oh. I didn't know I'd need devil bone dice. Can at least see this. He tells you that folk here keep to themselves. He says he doesn't go up to the building with the steeple, and the acolytes hardly ever come down here. It sounds like a solitary sort of life. He claims he prefers it that way. When he turns back to his work, you see the chain of heart metal links he wears around his neck, and the closed locket that hangs from it. Oh ho. So, return later, or sort of like how recent news unlocks doors in other places. 3 devil bone dice. Of course I need 3 devil bone dice. I do wish... I don't know. I mean, this game tells you a lot about things that you need, so why not tell me that? 3 devil bone dice for heart metal. My main fear is that I'm going to need the long box just to get in. And then it'll be like, oh, and also we need a heart metal ingot. And it'll be like, oh, okay, so I've wasted that long box because I needed... You need 2. 1 to get in, 1 to get the ingot or something. Okay. So, I think I'm going to leave this island where it lays for now. Where it lies for now. But some odd, interesting stuff. I didn't expect to only be able to ask 1 question of the acolyte. Otherwise, I might have chosen a more interesting question, but oh well. At least I know where the order is, so next time I can ask number 2. Okay. I want to get to Fallen London. We're close. We're close. I can't remember if I stopped at Hunter's Keep. I'm just going to go. We're just going to make a break for it. Before we have something bad happen. I like how it starts reminding me. It's like, you don't do that ever. Perhaps you should start. My crew can just keep it together until we make it into London. Then I feel like that's one of the more successful voyages I've ever done. God. Seeing that constant companion just as I press T to start floating up, and then bam, horrible spider crab thing. Oh, it's haunting. I don't know. It's just do I have recent news? Yeah. I'll drop it off here so I can get a C story, and then I can get a new one as soon as I get in. Speak to the crew. Nice. I lost 5 terror at least. That's not going to help me in... Oh. That's not going to help me in about 5 seconds. But, perhaps if it stops me from getting 14 nightmares attached to me. If I get merely 13, then I'm lucky. I actually do think that there's a limit to how many nightmare points you can have. Because I think last time I should have gotten nightmare points and it said it won't go higher because you already have 3. Or something like that. Beautiful. Alright. I hope this only shows up when it's true that you have nothing to hide. Is the music quieter today? Okay. Smile more readily, but what dreams may cling? Yeah, no, nothing's holds it off. You definitely get more. Whew. Okay. Oh no, the blind bruiser. It's not... I thought that he would start doing, like, cool stuff with you, and instead it's just go to the same... Like, I think I've gone to the same place twice. I think he had me go to concert twice. Let us... I mean... I don't know. Look it up. Just... Does Blind Bruiser become interesting? Yeah, like, there's cool stuff, but I just... Nothing... Like, it says... Yeah, you have agreed to hear the bruiser out again, like, equals 2. It's like, I've... this is what, the 4th or 5th time that we've talked? I don't understand, but... Fine. Gator's Mourn. Gator's Mourn. 1,000 unstamped souls. Bruiser. I don't know. It's not like, I don't think we get like 1,000 out of it. I might be wrong, but I don't know. I have 5. Yeah. 2 more strange catches. I don't know how many more he asks for. Alright, so now we have another recent news. We can rest. Goodness gracious, only 1? You know what? I'm pretty tempted to do this. I'm going to do other stuff first, see how much money I made, if any. But, I think this might help with nightmares more. I don't know. I've heard this is less expensive, but I think by less expensive they mean it's $100. And I usually can afford $100, so I don't know. Okay, so port reports. Okay, so I did go to Hunter's Keep. Mount Palmerston. I don't know if I should keep that, since I can spend that at Adam's Way to go in twice. I might hold on to it for now. Vanderbite. Oh, we went to Vanderbite. Oh man, this is so long ago. Oh god, I still like that. Okay. And I may keep these for Low Barnet, because they want the... They want stories, but only from other undersea places. Okay, so that wasn't too exciting. That's what, 600 echoes? Maybe no, maybe even just 200. That's a little boring. Well, I can do that, but I'd rather keep mine. Sure, I'll try it. I mean, I guess. Sure. So 105, so that's what, 35 more dollars than I would have just selling it at the store. Okay. I could, I guess, well, I don't really need more recruits right now. No. Oh no, I wasted my free evening. Well. Ain't that a kick in the pants? Okay. Well, that's how it be sometimes, I suppose. Let's see, double bone dice. I can get those at Mount Palmerston. If we see the modiste, I think that's the kind she wanted, so we'd be able to bring her on board. She's one of, I think there's like two, I know of two people that I haven't yet met. She's the modiste, and then there's another one that I've been keeping the solace fruits for. And I've never I've never seen. I don't know if she came after I played, if she was implemented afterwards. And then the other one I lost because she's one of the ones that's on a timer. I tried to save Scum so hard, but she's just at the same point all along the journey. They would pop up and be like, oh, she's dead. Or no, it would be like, hey, you can save her if you have this item. And I would give the item, whatever it was, and be like, okay. And then 5 feet later, she needs another one, and I don't have another one. It's like, okay, well, she dies. The end. And it's like, wow. Damn, that sucks. Yeah. Let's see. So knowing that this is everywhere, I'd rather it just showed up at Hideaway now that I've read it. So I can sell stuff to them. I read this sells. It's like a 50-50 chance. Either it's worth 1 or it's worth like 30 or something like that. So it's like you. Oh wait, no. It averages out to about like 33. So whatever. So I don't know, 60 odd, I guess. Uh, so it's either worthless or it's $60. Okay, I should have, yeah, one of each. So I'm keeping those just in case any adventures require them. I was hoping I would have a little more money. Like, as it stands, I guess I could purchase a new lodgings, but I don't know. The main stuff is like you can have a child, so on and so forth. Alright, so let's see. So yeah, so basically you have to go somewhere and sacrifice whatever adventures you might have had there to do the navigator. And then, of course, I can increase my mirrors. This guy needs, well, I mean, I could do this, I guess. I don't know. It's like I need 7 total. Either I purchase them at a rem, or I find them while puttering around. Either which way, it's going to take me a while, so. So I've saved. Let's go. Hello, little fellow. Okay. What? So he wants to go to the Chelinate. So he just wants to go to the Chelinate? Oh, okay. A squelch, then a quivering thunk. The bandaged poissonnier has thrown a strange catch across the galley and then a knife. Is something wrong? The ingredients are fine. It is my hands that are deficient. There are piquant jewels hiding in the vitals of these creatures, but I cannot extract them. One slip and the taste is contaminated. He paces the galley. I need to improve my butchery. Can you take me to the Chelinate? No one knows more about gutting than the bone men. Okay. Sure. Take Poissonnier to Chelinate. Fine, sure. Wait, what? I can have him be. I didn't expect that. The Isle of Skull can be a mascot? That's amazing. Is it? I mean, I guess a mascot can be an inanimate object. Excuse me. I forgot something because I looked into the eyes of the Isle of Skull. That's kind of fun. So it seems like mascots aren't. Like, this is one of the best ones I've had. Like, the Parabolan Panther was pretty good. I may be exaggerating in my head, but it had a +8 to something. But, obviously I don't have that on this account. It'd be cool if I could, like, posthumously attach it to this account, and then all of a sudden it shows up in London or something. I was like, oh, cool. I believe in Fallen London, if you did I did the Whisper box, and the Whisper box I got from Fallen London, I think you could do something similar and give a kitten, and it would, and you could, so if you had one, if you were one of the Kickstarter backers, you could have a Parabolan Panther, And I guess somehow you got it into Fallen London, and in Fallen London it could have kittens, and then you could gift those kittens to your friends in Fallen London, and thus they could spread. That's vaguely what I recall the idea was, but of course, I never did it. I never knew how to do it. So, okay. I'm gonna get more crew because this whole time I've been worrying about running out by having just an unlucky event. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. Okay. So, yeah, that wasn't nearly as satisfying as I thought it would be. That's a bit of a shame. Oh, right. Sorry, I was going through seeing what else we need to do. So, I have to give the adventures of a lifetime in order to see him. I've done that. We know what he needs. So, it doesn't even show up here. We have one of them, the Seer. 40 Stygian Ivory. The most important thing, I remember the thing that gave me the most trouble was, well, besides getting a boat that was large enough, but the toughest thing was Frostfound. I don't know. I'll be honest, I don't know what the idea is behind how the journal is set up, but I find it not very easy to navigate. And it's a shame. Okay. Oh, yeah. Hopefully that will show up when we get there, because I'm never going to remember that. Okay, yeah, so... Yeah, so we got to go to Frostfound. So we have to find a way to get our terror under 20. Somehow. I mean, I just caroused and it's like $10 to remove one, which 20. So that'd be $270, and so it'd be 300. It'd be 300, hoping that we wouldn't gain 3 terror en route to Frostfound, and Frostfound is pretty far, so it's doable. I mean, but I'm gonna end up spending like 400 instead to get me down as low as possible. So it's doable. I mean, I have the money for it, and it's like this. The Stygian Ivory isn't the hardest part. Okay. So we found out where we can do this, but I don't really intend to do that. Yeah, but I hope it seems like, we've been to the Empire of Hands once. It's like, but we don't have time to go over there. It's like it's such an adventure to get to the east side. So there's that. Oh, here we go. Yeah, the other thing is the element of dawn. The element of dawn is genuinely hard to find. I cannot recall how I got it the first time, because I've gotten the impeller. My guess is I got the Cannoneer's item, and I realized it would be useless to me, so I sold it to the Dawn Machine. So the Dawn Machine becomes the most powerful power in the Z, because I've only given a little help to London, and London is still struggling. So I think they're definitely on the losing end unless I quickly shore them up. Um, but one of the things you get from giving it to the Dawn Machine is uh, that the element of dawn. Yeah, the element of dawn. It's hard. It's hard to find. I don't. I mean, as we've seen, it's easier to get a Judgment's egg, and a Judgment's egg is hard to find. It's yeah, it's like the easiest way to get an element of dawn is probably to sell the Cannoneer's item. Uh, yeah, there's only two ways, and one of those ways is selling the Memento Mori, the Cannoneer's thing. The only other way is to give the Dawn Machine a vital intelligence, 7 crew, 50 supplies, and it says 1 supremacy of the Dawn Machine, so I guess we would have had to help them previously. Like, vital intelligence is already not easy to get. Oh, okay. I think. Well, we keep reading. Naples. There's a whole bunch of stuff about crates of supplies. Wouldn't you just buy them? 50 times 20 is 1,000, isn't it? Like, it's expensive, but what does this talk about going to here? Yeah, okay. So, all right. So I don't need to have a supremacy Dawn Machine. It just causes one. But it's better than giving them the Memento Mori. If I purchase them, if I give them 7 crew, 50 supplies, and 1 vital intelligence, then that's +1 supremacy to the faction Dawn Machine. But if I sell them the Memento Mori, the Cannoneers project, that's +3 supremacy to the Dawn Machine faction. So and there's no other way to get an element of dawn. There just isn't, apparently. So the main thing is, yeah. So the hardest thing for me right now is probably the the 50s. Like I said, if pressed, I can make room in my hold for 50 supplies, plus the supplies needed to get to the Dawn Machine. Also, Dawn Machine, do they sell? They're not on my list, so I don't think they sell supplies. So I would need enough to go as well, down there and back. But I can purchase the crew and sacrifice them, and it's not even necessarily that they're getting devoured by an artificial god of slash steampunk sun. They're just like part of the crew that runs it now, I think. So yeah, the main thing is, yeah, 50 supplies doable, 7 crew doable. The vital intelligence a little more difficult. It can be made by combining 2 strategic information or through intelligence networks. Okay. So, and also there's the problem of the whole time that I gather those strategic items and then combine them into the vital intelligence, there is an increasing chance that our little trader on board will steal it. And I do wish there was kind of a way to trigger. Like, I mean, if you weren't playing the game, if you hadn't played the game before, you wouldn't know it was him. I guess. But it's still, I don't know. I feel like you should be able to talk to him and sort of like glean something, but he doesn't say anything. Let's see, 70 plus 50. Wow, that's just straight up, yeah. That would fill me to the brim. So yeah, so I'd probably sell some stuff. But yeah, that's the thing. Like, these people. Also, the unsettling sage. I don't think he looked like that. He was like a little. He's like a little blue gremlin man. Now he looks like that. I don't know why. But these people are taking up my space. There's this guy who needs to go to the Principles of Coral. She's taking up space in the hold. But I can sell this. I can sell this. I just hurt my neck. I just made it twinge. If I think, yeah, no, it would take, I would be taking a loss if I sell the candles here. So it's, morally, it's important for me not to do that. And I needed the sapphires for something. I know that one of my networks needs a captivating treasure. So I'm glad that I got that. I don't remember what the other one needed. The problem is my notes are all sort of jumbled. So I still have something that says they need honey, and I know that we're way beyond that. Oh, here we go. Carnelian needs 1 romantic literature. Khan's heart needs 1 captivating treasure. Dahut purchases it for 11 sapphires. Okay. So I'm set. So I could sell these sapphires because I don't need them for anything specific right now, because I think that's what I was saving them for. Besides, of course, just generally having sapphires about. So that's good. So I can up my Con Heart spy network, because it'd be cool to, get vital intelligence without having to craft it with strategic information. I don't know how to get strategic information, actually, I'll be honest. As far as I'm aware, you only... Yeah, you get them from, like, the stuff that I do with the Admiralty. And then everything else is, like, a rare success. Or something that you're doing rare. Yeah. Yeah, or random events. Yeah, so strategic information is very hard. It's probably easier to up my intelligence, my spy networks. It's better to do that. Man, well, okay. So. Okay, so I can't do this yet, because I need a vital intelligence. I can't. I can't. I can do whatever I want, obviously. But if I want to do the spy network, I have to come here after Khan's heart, because I need literature and I don't have any on me. I know I have stuff I can drop off at vendor by. I at least have the skull. I have a piece of cargo annoying me for Port Cecil. I have stories for Low Barnet. I hope it's not a matter of I needed one from every underwater place. I hope not. I hope it's like I can sell Scrimshander. I can one at a time. I'm gonna be mad. I'll have to keep that in mind. But let's see. I can drop off someone here. I want to be in Khan's heart. I need to get to the Chelinate, and I have to go to Guider's Mourn or else the Blind Bruiser will murder me. Because I don't understand how it works. I think I've come back to London without doing it before and nothing happened. So I wonder if you're allowed to come back once and then next time you come, or you go out and then it's a matter of, when it says there's a breath of change, if that means when you come back. So you could go to Hunter's Keep 40 times and nothing will happen, but the second that you go over to Khan's Glory on your way back, the time will change, the breath of change will pass and he'll murder you. Okay, so and I keep trying to do, well, I want to do lots of things. And also, voyages are less profitable because my main income right now is port reports. So I want to visit a lot of places. But yeah, so I could do 1, 2, 3, drop off some stuff here. Maybe I'll have some adventure waiting for me so I can spend it on the navigator. Then I could go, I don't know, here. Visit Pigmo Isle, Port Cecil. Oh, Devilbone Dice. Where do you get Devilbone Dice? You get Devilbone Dice at Mount Palmerston. And that's it. Oh. I know there's another place. I just don't remember. Oh, yeah. At Rack. While Rack is struggling, you can spend a Foxfile Candles to get 2 Devilstone dice. That's not shabby, actually. If I get to them, so if I get there, so go here, get some Devilbone dice, assuming that they're still struggling, because I know I sent 8 ships here. So do that. Guider's Mourn, get that out of the way. Khan's Heart. Do my adventures there. Chelinate. Then and then there's just like no way back except exactly the way I went, which isn't useful. I guess I could go to Empire of Hands. Like, I'll try going to Empire of Hands. I mean, again, like, I always want to keep doing things. There's not a lot in, like, the middle chunk of my world, which is like, well, I don't know. That's a little unfair to say. It's just, the Salt Lions are nice because they give you some early game cash. But then after that, they very quickly become useless, so you sort of wish that they were elsewhere. Yeah. I mean, what'd be really cool would be if I could, like, get Vital Intelligence somehow along the way. Oh, but there's no way I would have 50 supplies. It's physically impossible. It'd be like, oh man, and I skip there because I know I can't do it, and I go to Iron Republic and it's like, supplies for 15 in the Gesundheit Conspiracy mode, the House of Harvests. That is literally the only time that you can purchase supplies in hell. Okay, so I'll go to Rack because the alternative is going all the way up here, which is like fine, I guess. But it'd be cool because if I get the Devilbone dice, yeah, so I may not go down here this time. So this next one I will go Rack. Yeah, I guess I'll just go this way. Sort of swiggle my way back. Hopefully sell some Stygian Ivory. Then, probably, almost certainly refuel at Dahut. Maybe see what's going on there. Port Cecil. Get Port Cecil done. Pigmo Isle, see if we can further that. If we have the Devil Bone Dice, then we can do Station 3. If we purchase the books, the romance novels, we could even do Abbey Rock. We'll say goodbye to the Adventuress, which is a shame because of her stats, but presumably we get some good stuff out of that, considering you lose an officer forever. And then, depending on if we have fuel, Vendor Bite, and then making our way back down. So, yeah, that's a lot. But, that is a lot, but I think it might be worthwhile. So I said all that. I'm going to stop the recording now, have a bit of a break. My water hurts. My throat hurts. I need water. My water hurts. I need throat. So we'll stop there for now. And then next time, we will do that little maneuver, hopefully get some heart metal. Maybe we'll finally have the Memento Mori. We may even be able to try testing it out. Like, maybe. I think, yeah, we don't have a fort on the ship, but apparently that's not an obstacle. I mean, we'll get it. We'll get it and we'll see, I guess. I mean, okay, all right. Well, see you around. Have a good evening. Bye.